Okay, folks, welcome to this week's Fife Property Market Update. This is the 23rd of July, week commencing to yesterday, the 29th of July. Good evening or good afternoon, I'm not really sure. 7 o'clock is good evening, yeah, to our viewers on Instagram and also on TikTok as well. And also on Facebook, you're watching live, including YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all the various other platforms that could be included. We're streaming on 16 different channels at once. So hopefully we've got a bit more information for everybody. We've got a bit of something for everybody. We're going to talk about the Fife Property market overall. We're going to talk about what's coming onto the market in terms of the numbers, transactional numbers in terms of what's been sold as well, and compare to see if there's more supply, more sold, and should demand be high. What sort of price should you be paying for a property if you're a buyer in the marketplace? What sort of price should you be expecting if you're a seller right now and you've maybe got a price point of maybe 600,000, whereas some people have a price point of maybe 200,000 or 300,000. We're also talking about what's coming onto the market with us in the next week, also what's been sold last week, and what's been keys handed over, in other words, exchanged, to give you a good idea about what price points are actually going for. Okay, so let's kick this off. Let's look at the numbers right across the Fife Property market in terms of all the agents actually sold. For everybody else on TikTok and Instagram, if you want to tune into our YouTube channel, you'll see all these figures and these graphs on there. Unfortunately, they don't let me stream on these channels and use this method here, this broadcasting system. Okay, so Fife Properties TV on YouTube is the best place to look at this. So in the Cooper market, see, look at Cooper there right now. We've got 5 came onto the market in this week, and actually 8 have actually sold. So there's more demand in Cooper for this single week. Remember, a week doesn't make a trend, but we'll certainly be able to look at it for the month. Next week, we'll be able to look at it for the whole of the month, and we'll get a really good picture of what July was like. Although I've got a funny feeling July is going to be pretty good. East Neuk, 2 came on, 5 sold. St Andrews, 13 came on, 4 sold. Now, that's not a surprise because St Andrews, for the last couple of weeks, have actually had only about 4 coming on and about 10 sold. So there's no surprise that this would level itself out with more coming on and actually less sold. Levenmouth, 13 versus 11. Levenmouth, very, very stable. Even Stevens all the time. Dunfermline, 48 versus 45. Glenorthus, 12 versus 13. Again, even Stevens. And Kirkcaldy, 18 versus 19. Overall, 111 properties come onto the market in Fife last week. 105 properties sold. That is a really good market. Very, very stable. Now, where is the price point they're stable at? Well, it's really up to about 250 to 300,000. They're very, very popular. People have still got the right budgets and the right mortgages and affordability to be able to buy property prices in these bandings up to the 250, 300,000 mark. From then on, it peters off in terms of the supply and in terms of the demand as we climb higher in that price point towards the 600, 700, 800, 900,000, where the buyer market actually gets smaller because you're relying on really somebody with a huge amount of equity because it's unlikely they'll get a mortgage, which they'll probably be able to afford because it'll be an absolute fortune to get a mortgage, maybe about 500 or 600,000 every single month because interest rates are actually increasing. However, mortgage rates, there's an indication that mortgage rates might be coming down slightly. The swap rates actually came down, interbank rates between each other came down by 0.6% this week. That's the rates that they lend each other, the banking industry. Therefore, it could make mortgage rates more attractive and different products maybe getting released in the next couple of weeks, if not this week as well. It's still very, very affordable. Now, we talked about this, some of the things this week in terms of the Zoopla House Price Index, UK House Price Index. I did a show on that this week, possibly on Friday, I think it was, Friday afternoon, just updating people where the Zoopla UK House Price Index is for the July the 23rd and July 2023. And they're actually saying modest house price growth of 0.6%. Modest annual house price falls in southern England of 2.2%, when average asking price over 300,000. Affordable markets, they reckon Zoopla said affordable markets in economically active areas still registered an annual house price inflation over 3.5%. Fife itself, still an average. Average price in Fife to buy is round about 170,000, 171,000. Still year on year, 4.8% increase on the average amount, remember. So this is based on 171,000. If you're way above that in terms of your price point, that's obviously going to be a different level, and it possibly could have a different percentage, either a slight increase or slight decrease in price points as well. We've seen that actually happen at the higher price points, about more realistic, affordable pricing in terms of where you are in terms of the price bandings. But we talked about that. I talked about that especially in the Zoopla House Price Index show. So if you want to listen to that podcast, you want to watch that show, click on the link on here, and then you'll drill back into through all these shows in detail. It'll give you the headline statistics, but it'll also give you access to the podcast or the video or the article itself. Okay, so let's quickly jump back to here. So overall, as I said, 111 properties came on, 105 properties actually sold. That's a really good market. Now let's just talk about what's driving this market still. Why is the media telling us a completely different story? Why is the media peddling doom and gloom? Well, for one thing, it sells obviously what they've got, what their product, and it also sells advertising space as well. But nobody wants to hear good news. Everybody likes to hear to respect, or everybody react more to negative news than they do to good news. And that's just human nature. That's the way it works. And that's why the media does that. So this is actually in total conflict to what the media says right now in terms of where the housing market is, in terms of where the UK economy is as well. So we looked at this and drilled it down. And as I said, I looked at the markets that sell. Now, one of the things that we talked about yesterday, Perry and I, Perry McIntosh, we talked about our sell now or wait. Are you going to sell now or are you going to wait? What is the right move for you? That was actually a really good show yesterday. When the property market takes an uncertain turn, it can throw your moving plans into doubt. This was a really good show, as I said, really good knowledgeable information. I gave maybe a lot of estate agency secrets out to people. Maybe I gave too much in this show itself. So again, if you want to learn more about what I talked about and what Perry talked about in this show, which will help you immensely on your journey if you're looking to sell now or if you're thinking about waiting, this will give you the facts, this information. This will tell you if you're on the right track, and it will tell you if you should be selling now, and it will tell you also if you should be waiting now as well, based on this information that we're going to give you. But it's actually all down there in a podcast. If you've not got time to watch it, listen to it on the way to work. Just listen to it, download it, listen to the podcast on the way to work. You'll get good insight, good information into where the Fife property market is as well. Also the UK property market and Scottish property market overall. But it's really good information and knowledge to allow you to make decisions based on facts rather than actually hoping for the best. Also, people that have been in the market for quite a while, that show actually as well, we talked in detail about what you should be doing right now if you're still on the market, no matter who you're with in terms of your agency, what you should be doing right now, what you should be asking your agent right now as well. A proactive agent will have covered all these things anyway, but it's good to know this. Knowledge will set you free is the ultimate thing. And it will also explain to you what you should be doing right now based on facts rather than what you think is maybe just everybody else's opinion. That's the key here. So sell now or wait, another show there. Let's talk about what's coming onto the market. Okay. So what's been sold so far this week from us gives a good indication about where we are. Right. This tells me straight away what's in place in Anstruther. It's sold in 1 week, a 2-bedroom upper maisonette. It was on offer for £105,000. Now, even in the boom, one of these other properties actually took a wee bit longer to sell than this. So this is an excellent opportunity to demonstrate to you clearly that apartments like this in the East Neuk area are selling very, very well, and they're selling for offers of 105,000. The next one is it's been on the market for quite a while, and it was introduced back to the market again. This is another one. This has been in the market for quite a while, a long time actually. There was reservations about it all. We realigned, we repriced, we re-strategized it, and we got back in front of the right people, and it is now sold. When it went on for the second time, it sold in 3 months, and it's a 5-bedroom detached house at Lawview in Leven. It was on offers over 325,000, and it is now away. So it shows you different strategies for different occasions for different price points. Next one that's away is this week is Bankhead Place in Windigate. Says sold in 1 week. Again, listed at offers over 125,000. Told you. What am I telling you about price points up to about the 250 mark? They're still going very, very well because they're still extremely affordable. Two-bedroom terraced house. The new owner is delighted with their first home, a first-time buyer. That's exactly what they want. Same with Watson Place in Anstruther, a first-time buyer. That's exactly what we want. First-time buyers are the lifeblood of our industry. They keep the cycle going. As the first-time buyers come in, it allows people to upgrade to the secondary market and the midpoint, and then the midpoint people can upgrade to the larger market, which effectively is Law View and Leaving, which somebody upsized to. Okay, the next one, it was sold. Collinsborough, Fairfield Road, Collinsborough. This sold in 2 weeks. Listed at offers over 150,000, three-bedroom, semi-detached house. Owners thrilled with their new family home. Family homes, first-time buyers, upsizers. This is what we want. This is what keeps the market going. What's going to be coming soon? Okay, so what's going to be coming soon? Let's talk about that. Coming soon with us, Scooney Hill Road in St Andrews, three-bedroom terraced house went on. If you've seen the pre-portal a couple of days ago, Perry put that on the St Andrews Facebook property page as a pre-portal before it goes to any websites. If you're looking for a property in the Scooney Hill Road area of St Andrews, you need to be quick because this is very popular, especially this one. South Croft in Ceres, I looked at that this week. It's a gorgeous property. A two-bedroom end terrace cottage, amazing back garden, sits in the sun all day long. And this property is absolutely mint inside. Absolutely beautiful, stunning. And wait till you see this elevated plot as well, especially on South Croft in Ceres. Next one, Dreelside in Anstruther. Talk about high-end property in terms of specification inside. This thing's got beautiful, beautiful kitchen, open plan to a dining area, open plan to a lounge. It has three double bedrooms upstairs as well, and it's an end terrace property. It has easy parking. You only go into Dreelside if you actually live there or you're visiting someone. That's a huge advantage. Cracking back garden as well, and it's right dead centre, almost easy walking distance into the. Well, let's say it's on the Fife Coastal Path. And then it's just round the corner for the beach and the harbour and everything else. And by the way, you can go along to the open water swimming at the open water Celandine tidal pool, and you can get along to the golf as well, and then back on the road to Pittenweem and Anstruther and St Monans and everywhere else you would want in the East Neuk area. Just over the hill to 11 miles to St Andrews. Okay, so Dreelside and Anstruther, that's going to be a really great one. I'm going to be doing a pre-portal for that, I think, tomorrow afternoon. So watch out for that one. Craignon Grove and Cellardyke, another one come on in Craignon Grove, four-bedroom detached house, Taylor Street in Methil. This could be a perfect starter home, a perfect first-time buyer for someone. Be quick about this one. Taylor Street in Methil, it'll be a classic. Right, two-bedroom apartment right next to the new train station. Down the hill, you're at the swimming pool, you're at the new train station when it arrives, you're at the retail park, you're at the bus station, you're at the high street, you're on the beach as well. You've got everything on your doorstep. You're just up on the hill there, out of sight, out of mind. Perfect. So watch out for that one. First time buyer. If you're interested in that, it will be a great price point. So if you're a first time buyer and your budget is not that affordable, this could be the one for you. So register with us now. Inquire about the one in Aberhill, the two-bedroom apartment. Orchard Grove as well. You've probably seen the pre-portal for that. Perry did during the week. A three-bedroom semi-detached house in Leaving. This is coming on. An Institution Street in Buckhaven, two-bedroom ground floor apartment. I've got no surprise. Most of these actually are in the price points that we discussed. Therefore, they'll probably go really, really well. This is due to the restriction in supply. Let me explain to you, and I'll just show you this. This is the Zoopla. Now, I show people this. If you know my track record for this, I show this all the time. Zoopla, here we go. In Fife, 887 properties available to buy. Post-pandemic, it was 1,200. We've still got shortage of supply, which is still driving that market, which is still making properties up to the 250, 300,000 mark very, very popular, very affordable as well, and people are still going for it. Equally as well, from the 300,000 to 600 to 700,000 are still attractive. You've just got to find the right people with the right price points, and we do have people inquiring all the time. That's what drives the market here. The restriction in supply still. The demand, the number of people buying is possibly down. It will be, and I've discussed that in the UK Zoopla show. But the most important thing is the transactional cycle there. Now, that's actually one I talked about again this week. Was about Fife rents smashing through the barrier. We'll talk about that in just a wee minute. When I talked about the UK House Price Index, I actually showed you graphs from one of my think tanks, Chris Watkin, property guru. He had put graphs together to show me the number of UK transactions versus the number of sold transactions versus the 5-year average over the years, and we're still about 90% overall of the properties coming onto the market over the in comparison to the 5-year average itself. This means the market and transactional levels is still very, very buoyant. And equally as well, the restriction in supply is actually still driving prices slightly. So that's key. If you're a landlord investor, we did a show this week. It was Fife rents smashed through the £830 barrier. Now, our landlords actually, in Fife Property, our landlords profiteering overall. So we actually discussed this, Richard Cook and I, the lettings director, my lettings director. And what does it mean for tenants? What does it mean for landlords? What does it mean for investors? What does it mean for the future of the private rented sector? Again, you can if you're an investor or a landlord, you can click on this link in this post. You can get through to that article. You can read it. It's got a huge amount of content, 4 minutes to read. You can listen to the podcast. It takes about an hour. We usually do our shows for about an hour because there's a lot of content involved in there, a lot of advice and support and facts and figures for people to drill into, to give them such good confidence what decisions you should be making based on the facts. And so that's key if you're a landlord or investor. If you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about exiting, if you're thinking about exiting the buy-to-let market, hold your horses, listen to that show first before you make any decisions, because this will give you the insight and the inside information to make an informed decision for you based on your circumstances. And so that's quite an important one. What was completed this week? In other words, keys handed over. Now, what we talk about the keys handed over, when we sell a property, we can't say to people when we sell it how much it went for until it's concluded and the contracts are exchanged, the money's exchanged, and the keys are handed over. So this is why we talk about what's been sold in the week, but also what's been completed in the week. So this is what's been completed, and it gives a really good insight into what properties, how long it's taken to sell in certain price bands, and how much more in certain areas they're getting more than the home report value. So Links Road in Leven was a 4-bedroom detached house. Now I put this on last year at the express interest of the owners. Now, they want a specific criteria on this, and I did this for them. So this property actually was sold in 3 months. And it sold for the home report price of 400,000. Now, the great thing is, though, at the time it was sold in 3 months, we negotiated after that a 7-month entry date to make that happen. We got concluded missives. We got a non-refundable deposit put down as well from the buyers to make sure that they had skin in the game and they couldn't back out. You don't leave that wide open till the 6th month and then suddenly somebody turns around and says, well, I tell you what, I've changed my mind, because then that leaves it way open for the seller. So in order to protect the seller's interests, we'll get a non-refundable deposit in that circumstance where the entry date's a lot longer than usual. And we'll also make sure we can get the missives concluded as quick as possible so we can lock that deal in for them. So there's nobody being able to back out of this. So it took 3 months to sold to get the right person on board, and then we negotiated that 7-month entry date with non-refundable deposit and concluded missives to make sure no one can back out. So that's away at home report value, 400,000 of leaving at Links Road. Charlottetown and Cooper, this was a 3-bedroom detached bungalow. It actually sold in 2 weeks originally, and it sold for £335,000, and which was 4% over the home report value. So it was another £10,000 in the seller's hands. The great thing about that, 4%, and everybody goes, well, it's 4%, well, it's £10,000, and that covers all the costs involved in selling, the legal costs, maybe the mortgage costs, maybe redemption costs, and also they'll probably get a wee bit of cash back in the exercise as well to help them to buy their next property, and maybe something that's involved to furnish that next property as well, and they maybe otherwise couldn't have got. because they based their figures on the home report value the first time round. So that's the great thing about getting that result. Park Drive in Leven, two-bedroom terrace house that sold in 1 week, and this sold for 10% over the home report value. It went for £126,000. This was a two-bedroom terrace house at Park Drive in Leven, sold for £126,000 in 1 week. It was 10% over the home report value. Again, a really good result for the owners. And the new owners, first-time buyers again. They got their first-time buyer home, and that was them perfectly settled. Green Gates in Leven, three-bedroom upper maisonette. This was another one. It was sold in 10 days for 4% over the home report value, which represented an extra £3,000 in the seller's hands for £83,000. 2 or 3 years ago, properties like this, you wouldn't be able to sell for about 55,000. Now they're going for 83,000. Three-bedroom upper maisonettes in the Greengate areas of Leven. So if that's the properties or the property style that you've got and you're thinking 83,000, that's a lot of money for what I've got, that could actually give me a lot more choices in what I'm doing, then please feel free to give us a call or message us direct on this post for more information. We can come around and talk to you about what your circumstances are and then help you base a decision on facts, and whether it's moving or whether it's not moving is entirely up to you. Again, this is a first-time buyer that bought this, so hurrah for first-time buyers. Again, they're coming into the market in their droves, and they are out there, and that will allow these people to then upgrade to the mid-market, and the upgrade person to the mid-market will upgrade to the upper market, which is the £500,000 and £600,000 price point. So this is the life cycle of the property market. This is the most important thing that we could focus on. And as I said, in the UK house price index, I actually showed you more information about the whole UK market, the Fife market, and also the property market itself. Incidentally, when I go into the Smart and Rents through the 830 price barrier, and our landlords and profiteering, the answer to that is, well, watch the show. Listen to the podcast. Read the article. It's quite interesting. Again, all the articles are 3 minutes, 4 minutes long. Quick, easy read, and you could get through that quite quickly. Tomorrow, probably one of the most important things that most people will ever want. It doesn't matter what income you're on right now. You can lead your rich life from now on. I'm going to talk about this with Richard tomorrow, and we're going to talk about how to lead your rich life. I'm going to give you 10 top secrets. So 10 secrets to live your rich life. I'm going to give you that in the Wealth Creation Show tomorrow. Now, how can I do that? How is that entirely possible? Because I've done it already. From going from homeless and unemployed to retiring now 18 years ago, financially free and wealthy, and never to look back from there, I can teach this stuff. So I'm going to be talking to Richard tomorrow about this and how I did this, and showing you some examples and telling you about some examples of the 10 secrets I used to live a rich life, even when I was on a modest income. There is keys to this. It doesn't matter. Why suffer? Why sit in the shade when you can sit in the sun all day long and it's just sitting right over here? You're literally nearly there. Most people just choose to sit their whole life in the shade, when in actual fact they could be sitting in the sun all the time. And this is what we're going to talk about in the 10 secrets to live your rich life tomorrow at 12:30, live on the Wealth Creation Show. Richard and I were discussing this. Any more information and you want any more advice, please feel free to contact me. Messenger direct on this post. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow live at 12:30. And until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.